Hi there. I'm Peter Hartman. You're watching the Appreciationist, the pre-show. Pre-show starts at 6:45 p.m. every Wednesday, 15 minutes before the show starts at 7 p.m. And here's where, if you want to participate live with the show, you want to make sure your webcam works, you want to make sure your microphone works, you want to figure out what's going on, you want to test it out without too much risk, you can come at 6:45 p.m. every Wednesday and participate with us live. Check everything out. So what you're going to be seeing here, if you're tuning into the show early, you're trying to wait to see what's going to happen, we'll be starting at around 7 p.m., so that's in about 10, 15 minutes from now. And from now, 6:45 to 7 p.m., just waiting for people to come on board, sign up, sign in, get connected, and sort of get a feel for what's going on here today. So just be patient. If you're here for the show and just for the show starts in about 10, 15 minutes. If you're here for the pre-show, and if you're having any trouble trying to get online, trying to connect with your webcam or microphone, or even trying to see us, just post a message anywhere that you can see. So if you're on the Google Plus page, you can post it on the Google Plus page there. If you're on the YouTube page, you can post it there. If you are only able to get us on Facebook or Meetup or Twitter or personal email or anything at all, anywhere that you can find us, just post a message and we will try and I will try and walk you through the process of getting online. So, like I said, 6:45 p.m. to 7 p.m., just waiting for people to get on board. If you're waiting for the show, just wait until 7 p.m. Just hang in there. We'll be starting very soon. Today we're talking about equality in the inferiority or superiority complex. That's going to be fun to say during this show. Say that 10 times fast. Inferiority and superiority complex. Ugh. Let's see how that goes. My name is Peter. I'm really glad that you're here. Hang in there. Show starting soon. I know there's some people who are interested in participating with the show today. I wonder who it will be. I know we have a friend who went to the dentist today. She might be on talking like this, but we'll welcome her anyway. Oh, I should close that window, shouldn't I? See. We'll see. Oops.
Hey, Peter.
Hola, señor. How are you doing?
Pretty good, you?
Good.
Have you seen the I don't know how old it is, the Law of Attraction commercial?
Commercial? No. What is it about? What is it a commercial for?
Wow, it's a 30-second commercial on the Law of Attraction. Hold on, let me see if I can find it for you.
Hmm.
It's really funny. It's more funny than anything else.
It's not a Heineken commercial, is it?
Yeah, it's the Heineken commercial.
Oh, I've never seen it. The Law of Attraction funny beer commercial. Oh, this is going to be good.
Okay, hold on. Um, Screen share. Yeah, that's it.
That's funny.
Apparently, I could run this from Google Plus, and I'm trying to
Yeah, you
do.
can trade your screen.
Yeah, you could show your screen running the video.
Oh,
I
well, my
wanted to.
computer is kind of busy right now, so I won't be able to handle it. But
Yeah, it's not working. I'm not sure why.
hmm. Well, I'll post it on Law of Attraction. I think that'll be funny.
But in all seriousness, you could have
Yeah.
like a small video that talks about law of attraction, about your meetup group, and you could have it in the beginning of all the appreciationists, like because there's a feature in Google Plus that allows you to play a certain part of your screen. I'm trying to use it now. It's not working, but it's just technical difficulties. Once that's sorted out, you could just take that video and put it, and everybody sees that video. It could be like 20 seconds as an introduction. When you say you want, let's start, you play that video, and then everybody knows, okay, it's starting.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I know I tried to do something like that before. I think when I first started with Google Hangouts, there was no screen sharing option. There was only an option to share YouTube videos. So now that that's there, I'll give it a try and see how well it works. It would be a good idea.
Yeah, it's... Oh, I got it. There you go. See, now I'm sharing a picture with you. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, I tried to share a video and it wasn't working, but a picture works.
Okay, so I'll do some tests. I'll see how well it goes. Awesome.
Hold on, let me see. So now I'm going to try the law of attraction video. There you go. Not bad, eh?
Yeah, I can see it.
So instead of that, you could have an introduction to the Appreciationist and just play it at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, no, that's good. I'm definitely going to have to put that on my list to do. I know we have a lot that we're working on now because we created a second group called Happy for a Change, and we're working on the tour and the Kickstarter campaign for that. But after that, for sure, what I want to do is really sort of round out the Appreciationist, make sure, intro music, videos, guests to interview, and things like that. So that's on the top of my to-do list. Awesome, thank you, Dimitri. I appreciate that.
No problem. Hey, someone's
Feels
here.
good to have someone. Say again.
Nice.
Hey, Val.
Hi, Valerie.
How are you?
Pretty good. And you?
Fine, thank you.
It feels good to have someone else thinking about ideas for you. It sort of helps feel motivated. I appreciate both you and Valerie have been helping me a lot.
No problem.
Well, you're helping us a lot, so I think it's a team thing,
Yeah,
awesome.
back.
Very cool. Beatty says that she. Say again?
I didn't hear what Dimitri said.
I just said pay it back.
Right.
Good. Yeah, Beatty, she's still frozen. She can't talk, but she'll be watching. She's probably watching now. I hope you feel better. I know you will feel better. It'll wear off. I hope everything went well. And you'll watch the show. It'll be cool. Today we're talking about equality, which is the closest word I could find to sort of describe what you were talking about there, Val.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to find something positive too, and I think that's the one I found too. I couldn't find anything else.
Because self-worth is sort of close to that, but it's not exactly the same. Because as I was thinking about it, I realized there were some sort of different dimensions to that. So it'll be fun to sort of talk that out and see how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
It's been an issue that I've had to deal with.
It came from really, it just led to this, really, the conversation we had last week. And
Yeah, I get that. That's cool. So we'll see. We'll wait 3 minutes. We'll see who shows up. I had a very busy day today. I got caught in the rain today.
You did? When did it rain?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask the same question.
It rained for about. Hi, Melissa.
Hi.
Thanks for joining.
Give me 5 minutes, okay? I'll be right back.
Okay. It rained for about 10 minutes, 5 minutes. It hit us real quick. The clouds came. I was trying to shoot because we're trying to shoot the Kickstarter video for Happy for a Change tour.
Right.
And I say again.
No, I said right. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. And I really love the buildings. So we were at Alvino Park yesterday, I think it was, and we got a beautiful shot there. But I really like the sort of architecture, the buildings that are downtown near Place des Arts, where the jazz festival is, where the Just for Laughs is. And so we went there, and by the time we got there and set up, it just immediately started raining on us. So we ran into Complexe des Jardins, and we stayed there for a bit, and then it got sunny again. So maybe it only rained in like one particular area. I think God was like teasing me. It's like, oh, you have a plan? You think you have a plan? I'll change your plan a bit.
I think it's funny because wasn't it last week? That's last week that you said, oh yeah, sometimes the weather really, cooperates and I think that sometimes you go outside and you feel like you're exactly in the spot where it's not raining. Well, you need
That's right.
the other side of the coin, obviously.
It was completely opposite today. It was like someone was picking on us. It was interesting, but I've had a sort of pretty like a difficult week, so I'm not surprised that stuff like that happens when I'm out of sync. That sort of happens.
That's what I was gonna say. You probably attracted it.
That's right. That's right.
Probably.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it was okay. I mean, I honestly, just before it was raining, I felt hot. I felt sort of tired, and then as it started raining, I had to like rush and put my camera away, and I felt irritated at first that it was raining, but then I thought, well, my habit is to just try to find a way to feel better, and I immediately just sort of let myself enjoy the rain, enjoy the cool water. I put my face up to the air and I let it rain on my face, and in that instance, I realized maybe the rain was here to bother me. Maybe it was just trying to cool me down and give me some respite. So I have this habit of trying to turn bitter moments into sweet moments.
Mm-hmm.
And, I didn't like the rain because of what I was trying to do, but at the same time, I really appreciated it. We were walking a lot, moving a lot, and when the water came down, I was like, oh, nice and refreshing. So that's lemons and lemonade, huh?
Right. Let's just okay. This is bad. Let's just hope it doesn't rain lemons next week.
Yeah, I hope not. I'd rather it rain cats and dogs. That'd be at least entertaining to see.
Poor thing. Well, cats would have no problems. Not sure about dogs.
Can you imagine? I can just imagine just like cats and dogs raining. All the cats landing perfectly fine. All the dogs not so fine.
Yeah, I know. That would be
It'd be a good day for cat lovers. I'm a cat lover, and when I talk to dog people, I'm always like, cats, they bury their own poo. They sort of take care of themselves. How does a dog do that? Maybe I'm talking to a bunch of dog lovers. I don't know.
Have you always loved cats, or it's recent?
No, I hated all small animals. I used to like the idea of dogs, but I never really wanted to have one. I just couldn't stand. I had this phobia about small animals running between my legs. I just couldn't deal with it. But one day I decided a cat might be good, but mostly because the cat takes care of itself. I really loved how independent my cat was. I just let her. She'd even find food outside by herself. But when she started bringing mice into my house, then I was a little sort of.
Oh, she was
cats
good for you.
I know, she came and brought me these little mouse, and then you think it's dead, and as soon as she drops it, the mouse starts running around. Now I'm running around, finding mice in my house. And I'm like, Ice, and Ice is just sitting there going, what? I thought you'd be happy. I thought you'd be happy. And then we go outside, and this is where I felt like it was a little weird. It's like looking at the deeper side of animal life. Outside, she'd bring me in these live mice, but outside she had these mice that were like ripped open, as almost like serial killer style, you know? Like she was like this crazy cat who just sort of like, I wonder what you look like on the inside. And I was like, what are you doing out there?
I like the way you see it too. It's like serial killer style. I mean, like there's such a style.
It was well. I step out of my I opened the door, and there'd be these mice that were like opened up, like dissection style, you know. And that to me is like, well, look, I kind of liked it, and then I was simultaneously kind of afraid of my cat. You know, I was like, oh, hang on a second. Maybe not all cats are nice, you know. Maybe some cats are a little. Anyway, I'm a little, so I felt like the cat was like, but you know, that's when I realized I was a cat person like right from the get-go. Just because if I had a big backyard and stuff, I think a dog would be really fun. But are you guys dog people or cat people?
I like both, but I like cats better.
Who that was Valerie? Valerie likes cats better?
I'm a dog person.
What about you, Melissa? Oh,
I have
Dimitri,
both.
you're dog. You're both.
Yeah, I have a cat and a dog. I prefer a dog to a cat because it's more like interactive and fun to be with, but it's true that it's a lot more care.
That's right.
You should meet my cat. Talk about interaction. No problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. Some cats can really, really get with you. I always had fun with my cat, but my cat used to go walking outside, and I used to follow her. I used to sneak out of my house and follow her as she went out, and she would walk on the sidewalk like a person. Like she wouldn't hide from people. She'd just walk on the sidewalk like a person, and people would just be looking at this cat walking, and I just follow from like a block away and turn corners, and I'd see her do all these very strange things. She had friends. She had people who fed her. She had this whole life outside of our apartment. It was crazy. So I liked interacting with my cat in that way. But a dog, like, it's good when you come home and it's like waiting for you. It's happy to see you. It's all up with you. It's just having a dog to me is like having a 2-year-old that never grows up.
Yeah, exactly.
At least a 2-year-old will grow up and learn to put their clothes on, learn to go to the bathroom. Anyway, we're talking about dogs and cats here, and it's 7:05. We got to get started.
I'm sure it's entertaining for people. Don't you worry about it.
Yeah. Well, if you're out there, don't worry. We're starting just now. I just want to make sure who wants to go first, second, third? Who wants to go first? This is for the guest introductions and a moment of appreciation. We're not doing it right this second. I'm just setting the order. Okay, Melissa's first. Second is
Valerie.
Valerie. Valerie's second, and Dimitri's third.
Dimitri's third.
Sound good? Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's start the show. My pen, no pen. Okay. Hi, you're watching The Appreciationist. I'm Peter Hartman. Thank you very much for joining us. On today's show, we're talking about equality, the inferiority. I was practicing this before. Inferiority, superiority complex. Oh, that's going to be fun to say. We're talking about equality, and but before we get to the topic of today, let's introduce the guests that are in the room. How are you guys feeling today?
Great.
Let's introduce ourselves.
Okay, my name is Melissa. It's my second week with you guys. Last week I didn't tell you, but I'm an occupational therapist, and I'm the owner of my own clinic, and also the owner of a training center, and a big fan of the law of attraction.
Awesome, very cool. I gotta write that down. That's really awesome, Melissa. What's the difference between an occupational therapist and a therapist?
Well, there are many kinds of therapists, like physical therapist, osteopath can also be therapist. You have speech therapists. So we all have our field of expertise, I can say. And my job is basically to make sure that people can do their daily occupation with independence and autonomy. So we do it two different ways. We work on the person's abilities, and we also adapt the environment to make it easier for the person to do his daily stuff.
Awesome. That's really cool, Melissa. Thanks. I like to ask because if I ever meet people, I meet a lot of people, and knowing what people do and what they can provide really helps sort of network people. So that's really cool. Awesome.
Well,
Thanks for being here, Melissa.
Thank you. I just want to have that I am a specialist with pediatrics, so I'm specialized in neurodevelopment. So my field is basically with children.
Awesome. Well, I know a few children that need a little sort of reboot, so maybe they're mostly in my family.
You're talking yourself, right?
We'll check that.
Exactly. I can tell you all. Yeah, that's right. Okay,
I started my assessment last week, so I'm going to tell you the result in a few weeks. I'm going to keep watching you and tell you.
Awesome. Really cool. Thank you very much for joining us, Melissa. Who's next?
I am Val. I'm here pretty much every week because I love it and it makes me feel good and it's always interesting and fun. So I hope this one will be another one.
Awesome.
Just like that.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be fun. Today's topic was provided by you, so I'm sure it's going to be real good. Thank you for joining us, Valerie, again.
Thank you.
Hi,
last but not least.
Hi, I'm Dimitri, and been learning about law of attraction for the last 3 years. And the last 3 months, every time I try to think about the law of attraction, I learn something new. It's usually once a week. Sometimes, like this week, was twice. And it's really interesting. You could always, something very simple as the law of attraction, you could always learn something new every time you look at it. And that's what intrigues me.
That's awesome. That's really cool. That's a wonderful perspective to have, you know. A lot of people, they like, you can buy a new book and learn something new, but you can reread a book that you've already read and find a deeper meaning to it. And you can have a conversation with someone on a topic that you've already talked about, and then you can have that same conversation and go even deeper. So it's really cool to sort of revisit what you think you already know to find an even deeper sort of understanding. Very cool. And I think that's sort of what we do here on the show, right? When we talk about these ideas, sometimes it feels like we're repeating ourselves, but what we're really doing is becoming more and more familiar so that newer and newer patterns and interactions can sort of arise. I want to thank you guys for being here for the show. You guys are awesome. I really love talking to you guys here. So we're going to have a good time here. Today we're talking about equality. So, you know, have you guys ever felt or ever heard of the concept of the like a superiority complex or an inferiority complex?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you guys are familiar with that, so we'll talk about that in just a bit. But before we get there, the most important segment of this show is called A Moment of Appreciation. And that's where we sort of exercise our ability to appreciate. We look back at our week, at the past few days, we find something that we can see the value of. I love appreciation because it's not only about you know, recognizing the good values of a thing, but also choosing to enjoy it, choosing to draw satisfaction from it. And I don't know any better way to draw satisfaction from the moments in our lives than to share them with others. So what we'll do now is, for those of you who are interested, you guys want to share a moment of appreciation?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Okay, I can start. My moment of appreciation is an email that I received yesterday. I don't know if you remember, guys, last week I told you that I went to Texas to do a shooting for a product related to the law of attraction. And last night I received an email that I am invited to participate in a class with the same product, in a class that's going to last for 10 weeks. It's like a mentoring type of things with a coach. So it's about like 50, 60 hours of coaching, like totally free, because I did that. So I was ecstatic. I was so excited. I'm so happy. So I might be able to share some tricks and tips with you guys in the weeks to come.
This is fantastic. Look at that. It's growing and growing. It's amazing.
That's the law of attraction, guys.
I am so happy for you.
Thank you.
Very good. Very good news. That's something else that I find very fascinating. You know, every time that I hear someone else's good news and then I feel better, it always strikes me as incredibly magical. Like, how is it that I feel good when I hear that story from you, you know? Especially someone, I've never met you in person, at least I hope I'm remembering that right. But I still feel this sort of affinity, this sort of warm feeling when I hear that something else goes well for someone. And so thank you for sharing that with us. It's really cool.
You're welcome.
No? Who's next?
My moment of appreciation, well, Peter, you know about it. It was last week. We had a group discussion, I believe, on Thursday. And was there a topic, or was it just perspectives in general?
That's right. It was just the happy for change perspective in general.
And the discussion was fun. I mean, we went from technology to how to save the world and how to make people happier. It was just amazing. It was a lot of fun, a lot of energy. But as you know, it was just there was this one moment when we talked about how you make people smile, or you just smile at people, and that makes a big difference. And Samuel, who was the one who brought up that idea, had to leave early, and he left, and somebody gave him a piece of paper because there was something about a smile written on it, so he left. And maybe 20 minutes later, a lady came in. We didn't know her. She sat down. She said, "Samuel sent me." And she brought back the piece of paper, and she was smiling in the street, and nobody was smiling at her, and he smiled back, and then he sent her to us. And the fact that she came to us, and then she told us that she had a similar piece of paper in her purse with something written on it. I mean, it was just mind-boggling, the law of attraction, working with those two people and all of us. It was, I don't know, it felt like a magical moment, and it was so much fun. And now I want to know what was written on those pieces of paper, because I forgot to ask her.
That's right. I remember it was such an interesting sort of development. Samuel, the person you're talking about, it was the first time he had come to our meetup. He came to the Happy for Change meetup, and he really, like you said, brought up this idea about smiling. I asked everyone, how can we improve the world? How can life be happier? And he suggested something very simple. I think people should smile more. And he didn't just say it, right? He put his money where his mouth was. He went outside on the street and smiled at people, and then found this lady, and then suggested she came over, and he gave us this incredible gift. We all were over the moon for when she came in, just feeling great, and she needed it. Like she liked this. She was open to it. It wasn't just this stranger. She almost came in as part of the family. So Valerie, you shared a moment of appreciation that was really excellent. I'm glad that you brought that back to mind.
It felt real. It felt magical and fun. Just so much fun.
That's right. That's right. Do you know after that? Sorry, go ahead.
I said I'm sure it's going to be in a book someday. It's such an amazing story.
Yeah, we got to get all the details so we can really write that down well. Even after our discussion ended, a student who was working on her computer, she came up to me and she talked to me. She's like, "You guys, it sounded so interesting. What were you? I wanted to come over, but I didn't know if I should. And what is going on here?" And then we had a little talk with her. So that's always a good sign that the energy of the group is really good. When you guys leave, I get to talk to the people who've just been overhearing us, because we get loud, right? We get loud. We overtake the space. And when people are not bothered by what we're saying, but they're sort of inspired and they want to know more, it sort of leads me to believe that we're on the right track.
We should have a sign that says, "Join us if you want to. Don't be shy." Something like that. I don't know.
You know what? I do like that. I'm always a little sort of because we sit by the window, right? And people walk by the street.
Yeah.
And so some people might get a strange idea. But yeah, a sign that says, welcome would be really cool. Why haven't I thought of that? I need you, Val. I need you.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, good. I'm glad I'm needed.
Awesome. Well,
Peter,
that's a very good moment of appreciation. Yeah.
Peter, when you have a meetup and you say there's only 20 people that are allowed in a meeting, then having a sign saying "walk in" doesn't make sense.
Well, when we have a big group, then I wouldn't do it. But sometimes we have 20 people RSVP and only 10 people show up, and so that might be a good time to pull it out. So that's right. I certainly look, sometimes we take up the space. We're struggling to find a seat. I don't think I put up a sign that says welcome. But even when we do our outdoor events, we're sitting down on the mountain. We have all these people walking by. I put up a meetup sign, but it'd be great if there was a welcome sign. More people might join us. Very good. I like that. Dimitri, you have a moment of appreciation for us?
Yeah, it was yesterday. I met someone. We connected. We just had good energy and just had a good time just talking to them. It was really simple, but it was good. I enjoyed it.
Very good. I like hearing that. To me, the most important aspect of life is having these connections with people, having these moments of interactions. You know, I always think I fast forward to my deathbed, and I think what will be the things that I will look back on and appreciate. And I can't, for the life of me, think that I'll appreciate my mansion, or I'll appreciate all the cars I have, or I'll appreciate the money that I have. I'll appreciate those times where I connected with other people, or where I shared a moment where I was really myself, you know. And so I like hearing that. You say it's simple, but to me, that's the whole shebang. That's the reason why we're here. Very good. I like that. Look, my moment of appreciation is very simple. Sam and I, we went out yesterday to Angrignon Park. I don't know if you guys ever been to Angrignon Park. It's in the west of Montreal, but the park is way bigger than I ever realized. I mean, I walk by that park all the time, and I thought it was this small area, and the park is huge. I mean, you cross the sort of little water, the river, and it's like you're in the woods. Like, I felt like I was in Lord of the Rings, like The Hobbit. It was like I took up my stick and I went marching into the forest. It was great. And so we went shooting video for our Kickstarter campaign, and just a fun time being out with Sam and just enjoying our time. So that was my moment of appreciation. It's as simple as yours, Dimitri, but I think, you know, what's more important than spending time with people you care about and connecting?
Exactly.
So look, there we go. That's a moment of appreciation. Thank you very much for the exercise. I really like to spend time on it because it's really the most important thing.
Mention something.
There is a
real fast. Every week I want to mention it. Every week I forget. Notice, I mean, people who are watching and people who are here, notice our level of energy before and after the moment of appreciation. Big difference.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Right. You're absolutely right. That's really good. And but there is another aspect to the show that may not be as top-notch as the moment of appreciation, but I really look forward to it every week, and that's the joke of the week. You guys ready?
Yep.
There we go. Okay, the joke of the week, we're choosing between Playful, which was left over. I think this is the third or fourth week. So Playful's feeling a little lonely. It might need you. And then there's Seduction. Seduction.
Please, no manipulation, okay?
Deduction.
I agree.
Seduction.
Definitely.
Valerie agrees. Oh, okay. Seduction. Well, look, I knew that word was going to get you guys. Here we go. Seduction. Okay, so like every week, the words don't have anything to do with what the joke is. It only allows us to pick the word. So last week we had a fart joke, and it didn't say fart on this cut. So today we have seduction. It's a long-ish joke, and it's going to depend on my delivery, and we all know how that goes. Here we go. You guys ready?
Yeah.
A man went into a local tavern and took a seat at the bar next to a woman patron. He turned to her and said, "This is a special day. I'm celebrating." "What a coincidence," said the woman. "I'm celebrating too." She clinked glasses with him and asked, "What are you celebrating?" "I'm a chicken farmer," he replied. "For years, all my hens were infertile, but today, they're finally fertile." "What a coincidence," the woman said. "My husband and I have been trying to have a child. Today, my gynecologist told me I'm pregnant." "How did your chickens become fertile?" she asked. "I switched roosters," he said. "What a coincidence," she said.
You see it coming.
So he says, so the farmer says, "I switched roosters," and she says, "What a coincidence. She switched her rooster too."
Right.
Right? I see Melissa there. I don't know if she's frozen or she just doesn't.
She's frozen, I think.
Okay, she's frozen. I felt like she's just staring at me. I felt these cold. Oh, it looks like.
No, sorry, I missed the punchline. It froze like right when you said the punchline. I'm so sorry.
No worries, no worries. You made it funnier because everyone was laughing, but I saw your face and it was just a frozen shot. So I thought, wow, I really messed up that joke. Maybe French people won't understand it. Anyway, you missed the punchline. Should I repeat it for you? So I'll just read the last part. She goes, what a coincidence. My husband and I have been trying to have a child. Today, my gynecologist told me I'm pregnant. How did your chickens become fertile? She asked. I switched roosters, he replied. What a coincidence, she said, implying that she also... Okay, that's the joke. It's dead. I'm kicking a dead horse. You'll have to hear... You'll have to watch the tape over. But look, I thought it was funny. Any joke that puts women in power, I always think it's good. I spent years reading blonde jokes, and so now it's like the flip side. Okay, there it is. Hey, I felt like I want to give you guys another app for what a great idea. So this is an app. You guys can use it. I think it's a wonderful idea. I think it deserves our attention. This app, you may have heard of it. It's also a website. It's called Airbnb. Have you guys ever heard of Airbnb?
Yes, recently, actually. Yeah.
It's this really cool app. You can find places to stay in various cities around the world, whatever it is. I've looked at the prices. You know, some of them are expensive, some of them are very cheap, and so I really like the idea of using what you have. Instead of creating new things, using what you have. So there are people who are actually making a living now by renting out their place, right? They leave, they go on vacation, they rent out their place. And so I think it's a wonderful idea. Airbnb, it's an app. You can download it in the App Store. It's free. So today we're talking about equality, the inferiority and superiority complex. And I was thinking about the subject, and I find it kind of interesting because I know when I leave my meetups, when I leave my talks, whether I did well or I didn't do well, I always feel inferior. I always feel like I'm not as good as the people that I admire. I get sort of struck with this sort of pang. It's sort of the similar thing when an artist, sometimes they finish a painting or they finish a song, and while they were writing the song, while they were painting, they felt good, but when it's over, they sort of see how it could be better, and they sort of have this sort of pain. And so I feel inferior to, you know, speakers that I listen to, the Malcolm Gladwells, the Jason Silvas. I feel like, oh, I could have done so much better. I wonder, Valerie, since you suggested that, is that kind of on the same lines of what you were talking about in terms of feeling inferior or superior?
Yeah, very much so. I realized when I was thinking of that last week, because we were talking about self-worth, and that kind of came from that. And then after having the group discussion on Thursday, I realized, and this is not the first time, that very often in my life, I mean, and many times during the day, and I may have different judgments on the same people. You know, it can change throughout the day, but I'll feel inferior to some people, and then I'll feel superior to some other people, or the same people. It just keeps going. I'm judging all the time, and I hate it. I hate it because if I feel inferior, well, then I'm not happy because of what I'm doing to myself. I know it's not serving me at all. And if I feel superior, of course, I feel guilty because I know it's not true. You know, either one, inferior or superior, none of them are true. And I admire people like Eckhart Tolle or Byron Katie, who, according to what I've heard, they have like no more ego, and they really see everybody on an equal footing. They see everybody they meet. That's what they say, or what I've heard, and I hope it's true. But I've seen it of Byron Katie, especially when she interacts with people. She really there's no. Yeah, she interacts as an equal, and I find it's beautiful, and I find especially that it just it opens up so many possibilities for a real interaction where you get to learn an awful lot, and you get to explore the moment in a very different way. So I wish I could do that more, you know, not judge so much. But it's almost like automatic.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about that? What do you guys think about that?
Well, I can totally relate. Sorry, I can totally relate to that. And what is so funny about that is that personally, I feel exactly the same way as you guys, but I have a conviction, very deep conviction, that it's only me. Like, it cannot happen to anyone else. And every time I hear someone else say that, I'm like, how can you think that? You are okay, not me. But everyone seems to think that it happens only to them. So I think it's very funny. But it's such a great subject because I think it relates very well with what we talked last week. This all comes from your sense of personal value that you give to yourself, your self-worth, and your sense of identity that was probably built when you were a child with your parents or with your surroundings. But you know, as long as this is not solid and you know, really solid, I think we're gonna keep having those variations and calculation about our self-value. So we have to go deep down and set where the problem is, and I think it's the only way we can let this go and feel free and let the ego free.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Dimitri, what do you think about that?
I disagree. Let's say you're a father and you have a kid. Guess what? You're gonna feel superior. The kid's gonna feel inferior. Have you ever been in a relationship where the woman never wants to feel inferior? It's crazy. The whole idea is things happen. Like one day you feel superior, another day you feel inferior. It's a wave. It's a flow. It's okay. The problem is when one person always feels superior because they're insecure. Mm-hmm. Then that's a problem. But a lot of times it's a flow. It's a wave. And you want to feel insecure, superior at certain times. Something's telling you that your body's telling you something when you feel superior. Your body's telling you something when you feel inferior. Another problem is you have to understand what your life purpose is, what your goals are. Once you understand your goals, then just make sure if you feel inferior, it doesn't prevent you from meeting your goals. Or if you feel superior, it doesn't prevent you from meeting your goals. I think that's more of a gauge than, oh, I have to always feel equal to everybody. Because then life is boring. Mm-hmm. That's how I see it. I don't know.
You know what? I agree. I hear Melissa, she talked about this sort of, these variations. You're always going through this sort of variations. And I think she sort of agrees with you on that same level. Like, of course you're going to have moments in life where you feel superior. And of course you're going to have feelings of inferiority. And as long as you're not stuck in one or the other, then you're transitioning, and of course you're going to feel that way. So what I believe that the world, of course, is full of specialists. There are people who are specialists at physiotherapy. There are people who are specialists at, you know, cooking. There are people who are specialists at seeing the world in a particular perspective. So the fact that Eckhart Tolle or Byron Katie have achieved a level of being able to see people and not judge them and not feel superior or inferior to them, I see them as specialists who can inspire us to become better than we are, but I never really feel the need to match their level. Because my goal, like Dimitri says, is to just be true to myself. I have what I call a... Is that here? I have... Is that here? I have... I'm hearing a fire alarm, sorry. I have a self-standard, a standard for self. And as long as my standard for self is validated, is working, that what I'm doing is working towards it, then my feeling of feeling inferior or superior doesn't really bother me. So I say when I leave my meetups, when I leave my events, I can feel inferior. But that just sort of gets me going to being better next time, right? I don't really dwell there. I don't dwell going, I might dwell for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, but I don't stay there. And it just sort of motivates me to get better, because how is it that you're going to seek to improve yourself if you don't see in some way that you are not what you want to be, limited or lacking in some way. When you perceive lack, then you have this desire to achieve something. If you feel completely equal all the time, and you have a goal that sort of you're moving towards, then I feel like it might sort of hurt your progress forward. Now, that being said, I believe in two types of reality. So there's the ultimate reality, what is ultimately true, and then there's the penultimate, which is semi-true. The penultimate is the state just before the ultimate. Okay. So if I say, you know, the volume on my TV goes from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way to 10, then 10 is the ultimate volume, and 9 is the penultimate. It's the level before. So when we're talking about reality, people mix those two realities up, but we're always referring either to the ultimate state or the penultimate state. Ultimately, we're all equal. Ultimately, we're all equal. There is no separation. There is no judgment that can be made because we're all equal. Is a baby less valuable to the world than an elderly man who's worked for 60 years? Who could say, right? The contributions that we provide are provided just by our sheer existence. If a flower lives for 1 day, or a flower lives, or a tree lives for generations, is the tree more valuable? Is the tree superior? Ultimately, we're all the same. But on the penultimate level, clearly there are differences, right? On the ultimate level, there's no positive and negative, it's all one. On the penultimate level, there are positive and negatives. On the ultimate level, we're all connected, we're all one. On the penultimate level, we're clearly separate, right? We're clearly separate from one another. And so if you can shift between those two, that's where I find the balance truly is. Because when Eckhart Tolle, he's sitting up there and he's talking and he's trying to spread what he thinks is something valuable, he's seeing himself as having something valuable that he wants to give you. And on some level, I think that's superior. He feels like he has a superior offering to you than the world of consumerism, the world of, you know, of negativity. And so if somebody's giving you advice, someone's giving you something, on some level they must believe that what they're offering to you is better. Or else they might be like the Zen Buddhist master who says, are you happy? Good. Are you sad? Good. Are you angry? Good. Do you not have what you want? Good. Are you poor? Good. Are you happy? Like, it's all equal. But then there are some people who are trying to direct you. So on that level, I think the idea of superior and inferior is not something that necessarily needs to be transcended, unless that's what you want in life. But when you talked about judgment, that's the sort of thing that I think is the most important thing here, Valerie. Yep. It's sort of judging yourself. When a student is listening to their teacher, they're not criticizing themselves for not knowing what the teacher knows. They're just motivated to now become better. But when we're judging ourselves in our inferiority, instead of seeing the progress that can be made, we see the progress that hasn't been made, that judging ourselves, that being critical of ourselves, that's where I feel the detriment comes in. That's where I feel that it's deleterious to our mental health. So what you mentioned, Valerie, in terms of judging, I think criticizing yourself, judging yourself harshly, unduly, I think that's unhealthy and that doesn't serve us. But to feel inferior, that to me is perfectly fine. Because aren't there some areas, you mentioned, Valerie, that sometimes you feel superior, right?
Yeah.
And how does that feel when you feel that way?
That doesn't always feel good, honestly. Well, maybe not. It depends. Like, when it's happening, I think I don't realize it, and I judge myself after, saying, well, you assumed you had something to teach them, or you had to convince them, or whatever, but, you know, who are you to try to convince anybody, and who are you to hold the truth, you know? And so...
Okay, so let's answer that question.
Yeah?
I'm sorry, I'm just going to pause you there. Who are you to give anyone advice? What's so special about you that...
And then maybe the advice I'm giving, it was not even asked, you know, it was, nobody asked for it. I'm just giving it freely, but maybe I shouldn't.
But the answer you gave just now is actually the whole thing. I'm another human being. I am a different perspective. And just from the fact that I am a different perspective, I can provide you something that you can't have. You can't have my perspective, and so I'm going to share that with you. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, your inherent value is that you are different, that you are your own person. And it doesn't matter if you give right advice or wrong advice. It doesn't matter if you're helpful or not helpful. You exist, and you have, I don't want to use the word right, but I want to say that you can't help but want to share your perspective. And so on that level, on the ultimate level, you're a human being. I say, well, of course. I value everything that everyone says. When I talk to a stranger, when I hear anything, I love hearing it. I've listened to stand-up comedians who I thought were terrible, and I still listen to their set because I saw value in listening to a bad comic, you know? There's value in everything, and ultimately, there's a value in everything, ultimately. Penultimately, we can say, oh, I prefer this comedian over that comedian, but ultimately, they're all valuable. And so that's not a solution to your problem. Your problem is or what you're bringing up is a habit of self-criticism. It's not the fact that you feel inferior or superior. It's the fact that you're judging yourself for how you feel. And it's that aspect that can be changed.
Yeah, no, I think that when you talked about the difference, that made it clear. And as I was thinking about that topic last week and trying to find a solution to it, you know how the mind is, I was thinking of what we talked about in another discussion where you had said that everybody ultimately just makes the best decision, well, the decision that they think is best for them. So when I put it that way, whether in a situation where I feel inferior or superior, that helps a lot, because you know, if I feel superior, then I can just say, well, no, you know, I don't need to convince them or anything. It's they're doing what they think is best for them, so I can let go and I can really trust that everybody's responsible for their own life and give them space. So that feels good. And when I'm inferior, maybe I should remember to really that I am just doing what I think is best right now, and give myself credit for it. And you know, probably that will bring me back to the right level. I don't know.
That's right. No, I like that. When you feel superior, that's good. You act on what you think is best, and when you feel inferior, you don't criticize yourself, and you just sort of recognize that there's room for growth. But here's the thing, right? When you are, I love being wrong. I love being proven wrong. Like when Dimitri says, I disagree, you know, when Alexi in our meetup groups, he says, I disagree with you, I really love that, because in the moment that I realize that I'm wrong, I have the opportunity now to become right. In the moment that I realize that I am inferior, I have the opportunity for growth, to become superior. And all that's required is for me to, when you feel inferior, you feel inferior because you're at that moment seeing someone else's value.
Yes.
You're seeing, and in that moment, instead of putting the attention back on you, saying, oh, poor me, you go, look at that. Look at how awesome that is. Look at how good that person is. I want to be more like that in some whatever way. And then you take from them. You take their rightness from them. And the day I learned that, I used to have this huge problem with admitting that I was wrong. Have you guys ever gone through something like that? You're in an argument with someone, you've already realized that you're wrong, but you're still continuing the argument?
Yeah.
I grew up that way, and I got in so many arguments and got so mad. And afterwards, I used to sit down. I used to be, 13, 14. I'd sit down and go, why did I not just admit that I was wrong? What was going on there? And I realized it's because I felt like I was less. And then I realized, hang on a second. Okay, so I'm wrong, and this other person's right. Let me just take their idea. In the moment that I'm wrong, I can also be right. I can just be changed. And when I realize that, then I look forward to people disagreeing with me. I look forward to be proven that I'm wrong. And so I'll talk to my girlfriend, and she'll be talking to me going, no, you're wrong about that. And I'll be like, no, I'm right. And then finally I'll go, oh, hang on a second. Oh, smarty pants Peter, she is right. And I'll go, okay, forget what I had, and now let me take what she has, and now I'm right again. Yay, I'm right again. I'm superior again. And so I just love using our down moments as a reason to feel good. Like when I find myself in the middle of judging myself or being irritated or self-critical, I go, oh, I'm being critical, I'm being judgmental. Oh, here's an opportunity for me to change that around. oh, I'm being critical, I'm judging myself. Oh, here's an opportunity for me to practice something different. Like, I love when life shows me that I'm not doing something right, because then I have the opportunity to change it. Until then, I was just wrong and didn't know it. I was inferior and I had no idea, you know? So I sort of value that contrast that life provides. But I like what Dimitri was saying, you know, like, don't sweat it. Don't sweat. You're going through these streams. You're going to feel high and low. You're going to feel up or down. And don't sweat it. I wouldn't set up a goal that says, I want to see everyone as equal. Well,
I don't think I could anyway. But and you know, but it's just keeping a bit like Melissa was saying at the beginning. As long as you keep it, that you realize that it's not stuck. You know, that you don't always see that person that way, or that you don't always see yourself that way. I think if you can keep it fluid, kind of, I think it's really great. And my point. And what I wanted from this discussion, so thank you guys, was really that I wanted to to end up saying, don't sweat it, then it's valuable and it just works, you know. And so that was the point.
Very good. Awesome. Well, look, that's a wonderful note to end on. I do want to give you one more thing. I'm in the business of sort of giving people advice and stuff like that, but I do my best to never give people advice because I think they need advice. I'm only giving advice because it's fun to give advice, because it's fun to share your perspective. So if I were you, I would get out of my head that you're helping people, right? Because then you get into this argument, well, who am I to help them? Mm-hmm. And instead you go, it would be fun for me to share my perspective and to see how they might respond to this. And on that level, whether it goes well or not, whether your advice is good or not, you're just doing it for the fun of it. You know what I mean? And so I like to sort of change all of the needs and the shoulds of life into wants, and it would be fun if. And when you present your ideas in that way.
And then that way you don't have the responsibility of saving anybody. So, yeah.
Oh my goodness, can you imagine?
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to save people? I want to have fun with people. Let Jesus save. I'll do the fun part. Okay, my Jesus joke kind of fell flat there. Look, I want to thank you guys so much for participating. It was really fun to have you guys here. If you have any subjects or suggestions for the next show, please feel free to send them in. It's always more fun. If you have a joke, feel free to do that as well. What I'll do real quick is let you know what's coming up for us. Tomorrow we have a Happy for a Change event, a group discussion rather. That's going to be at the Chai Tea Lounge. I think it's full, but if you RSVP, we might consider it. August 5th, we have a self-confidence community discussion. So we had so much fun talking about self-confidence on the show that we decided to do a meetup about that. That's going to be at Chai Tea Lounge on August 5th. I believe that one is full. There's a waiting list for that one, but look, hey, sign up and see what that might be like. And August 9th, we have another appreciation walk at Angrillon Park with Samantha Barley. That's going to be a lot of fun. And of course, as always, tune in next Wednesday at 7 p.m. for another episode of The Appreciationist. I want to thank you guys personally, Valerie, Melissa, and Dimitri, for your insight. You guys were wonderful. Hope you guys had fun.
Yes. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Be well. Oh, that was a lot of fun. Okay, well, look, I mentioned here today, like when I leave my meetups, when I leave my events, I sort of, you know, for a few minutes, for 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I get stuck with, oh my God, I was so terrible, I wasn't as good as I wanted to be. And I don't run away from it. I sort of allow myself to feel that. I allow myself to feel that pain because it sort of reminds me and motivates me to move forward. Now, the trick is I don't stay there for very long. I stay there. Every time that I'm in that moment of pain, it's always because I'm willfully there. I'm making myself stay there. I'm willfully sort of keeping my focus there for the benefit it provides. But as quickly as I can, I switch over to positive thoughts. I switch over to constructive thoughts that convince me that, yes, I can. And then I aim to do better. And in so doing, you know, those bad moments of life, those down moments of life are wonderful opportunities for you to change. Because, you know, how would you know that there was something to improve if you didn't simultaneously realize that there was something that you were lacking in? So those Eckhart Tolles in the world, those Byron Katie's of the world, those Deepak Chopra's of the world, they might be better at us. It's just because they've been doing it longer, they've been practiced longer. And if you practice sort of not being judgmental, not being critical, you practice valuing what everyone says, and you just sort of speak for the fun of it, then you can sort of value your perspective, you can find your place in the world, and you can have fun while doing it. Look, we had a lot of fun. I want to thank you guys for participating with us. Check out happyforachange.com. We have a new meetup group, Happy for a Change Meetup. You want to check that out. Join us there. We'd love to have you. Is there anything else to say? I don't know. Oh, I have an idea for a new segment. It's called What's for Dinner. At the end of the show or near the beginning, I want to ask you guys, what are you guys eating for dinner? Because I think talking about food is always a lot of fun. Speaking about food, I got spaghetti to make, so I'm going to let you guys go. Take care. Bye now. See ya. Adios. Sayonara. Bye. Oh, I've got to...